Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Right now, we're going to be talking about the early civilizations in America. And if you notice right here, the agricultural revolution, if you remember from page one, we talked about the two groups that passed the Bering Strait theory. We talked about the gatherers and we also talked about the hunters. If you remember, the two key characteristics were they were very migratory and they always were in small groups. Well, with the development of the agricultural revolution, we're going to have the rise of the third group. And this third group are going to be known as the farmers. And what's important about this is their main crop is going to be maize, also known as corn. Okay. Now, let me talk about the different groups that are going to be developing during this time period. All right. First of all, let me start with the map. We start with your book talks about Mesoamerica, and Mesoamerica is pretty much from this area, Mexico, all the way up to this area right here. Pretty much this is where scientists consider the Mesoamerica to be. Okay, you see that area that is in orange. Okay, and in this orange area you're going to have the rise of two main groups. Okay, let's label this. This is known as Mesoamerica. And one of those groups are going to be the Aztecs that are going to be in that area. And another group are going to be the Mayans, which are going to be in that area. In a little bit, I'm going to be talking about the North American groups. But what is incredibly important is in Mesoamerica, this is where you're going to have the more advanced groups. All right, so one of the groups that we need to talk about are the Anasazi, and the Anasazi pretty much are in this area right here. Okay. They will eventually morph what are known as the Pueblo Indians. Another group that we're going to be learning about are the Iroquois, and the Iroquois are going to be in this area up here. They're going to be known as the Iroquois Confederacy. Another group are in this area, and this group are known as the Cahokia. These are the mound builders. Over here, the Iroquois Confederacy, because they live in that area, they're going to be in the wooded area. They're going to be building log houses, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. The Anasazi to the southwest over here, they're going to be focused a lot on their buildings, which are the pueblos, and of course irrigation, whatever they can do. Okay, so we have these different groups. Now let's go to the part where it says time to think. And this is going to be incredibly important because now, as I mentioned, the agricultural revolution is going to change everything about the Native Americans. Let's start with the large food source. If you remember, the first groups, the gatherers and the hunters, it was all about survival. You know, what am I going to eat today? Am I going to be eaten today? With the large food source coming from the maize, the corn, everything changes because now they are able to sustain large groups. Okay? At the same time, since they are going to be planting, they're going to be less migratory because they're going to be sticking around so they can harvest. And this is going to be creating permanent villages. And as I mentioned, it's because they will be planting and they will be harvesting. So if you notice, no more small groups, no more migratory. They're still around, but you're going to be seeing that these groups are going to be more into the building the cities. Something else that is important, civilizations are born. And what we mean by that is, according to scientists, in order to be called a civilization, 5 things need to be present. Number 1, you need to know or do something with trade. Number 2, you have to set up a government. Number 3, you have to develop arts. And again, these are what scientists consider to be present in order for an area to be called a civilization. Number 4, science. Number 5, a written language, even if it's hieroglyphics. And eventually number 6 becomes available, and that's going to be religion. Now, again, the time to think here is going to be incredibly important, again, because, again, it's not about survival anymore. Well, yes, you still focus on the survival part, but now you have time to think. Instead of worrying about, am I going to be eating today, now you're going to have a choice of, man, what do I feel like eating today? And at the same time, right here, you're going to be having the growth of social classes. The idea of, hey, why should I be doing the work? Why doesn't somebody else do the work? I'm better than them. So these are going to be present. And the last item, as I mentioned earlier, the most advanced civilizations will be in Mesoamerica. In there, I didn't talk about the Toltecs, but they are also part of that. Okay?